An uncontrollable force, unlocking life and unleashing chaos. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Yeah, it's behind us. Go, go, go!
More terrifying.
Oh, the house is going, the house is going!
And even more catastrophic.
Get away from the windows now! Come on!
With incredible self-shot footage.
Oh my God! Please, pray for us.
From the front line of fear.
I just remember thinking this. Are you joking? Is that what was coming at us?
We witness firsthand.
It feels like you're in a war.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I thought for sure he was going to drown.
There is nothing you can do to stop a wall of flame that's devouring everything it touches. No, 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 no.
From twisted tales of terror.
Unbelievable.
Go!
There was warnings out there, but I underestimated Mother Nature.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
All we see is like the ocean just coming towards us.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Everything around you that you worked so hard for, just gone.
We meet the people who have stared death in the face.
It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
I don't think either of us intended to get hit by the core of the tornado.
And survive the full force of the world's deadliest weather. Coming up, a violent tornado terrorizes an Arkansas town.
Oh my gosh!
Leaving residents running for their lives.
It was right behind us.
And striving to save their livelihoods.
I was afraid the tornado would destroy all the store.
An adrenaline-seeking swimmer finds himself in deep trouble.
I was just shocked that I was gonna die in a small amount of water just like that.
After crying wolf one time too many.
I completely just thought he was A-okay.
And two Floridian fishermen find themselves caught between the devil and the deep blue sea.
I anticipated that we were going to lose the boat.
Tornado winds can reach 300 miles per hour. And every year kill over 80 people in the US alone, making them one of weather's deadliest threats. In south-central USA is Jonesboro, Arkansas. In the spring, tornado threats are rife, so keeping their eyes peeled are residents Kamala and Jason Neely.
A lot of pop-up thunderstorms and tornado warnings this time of the year.
It's March 28th, 2020, and local weather services forecast mild thunderstorms.
It was a really nice day. It was sunny, and so I actually wasn't paying as much attention to the weather as if we would have been in a moderate or a high risk. And so we had kind of just went about our day.
But a low-risk forecast is still a risk. So weather enthusiasts flock to Jonesboro.
I've always been a weather fanatic, but I just recently have joined the Arkansas Weather Watchers team. Derek invited me to come on a couple years ago.
Looking at the reflectivity on it.
Most weekends in spring, Derek Smith and Andrew Motes leave their wives at home to chase deadly twisters.
Bye, ladies.
It's kind of something in your blood. It's like an adrenaline rush. It's something that you just kind of crave.
To save lives is my #1 goal.
And that's the most important thing. Look at that.
A thunderstorm rages to the south, but poses little threat to Jonesboro.
We set up in the field. It was about a mile on the east side of Jonesboro. It was one of the very few open fields in the Jonesboro area. And it was a relatively cool day, weren't expecting much.
We knew there was a storm further away that they were watching, but it didn't seem to be posing an immediate threat on us. We're still watching this thing. The National Weather Service had downsized it, and our weatherman on TV was like, we're going to keep an eye on this thing.
We're monitoring Jonesboro fire.
The thunderstorms blow north, keeping Andrew and Derek on their toes. And in the darkening sky, they spot a pan-shaped wall cloud, which often means a tornado in the making.
We looked over the hill and we saw the wall cloud, and we're like, okay, this is not good. Because at the time the storm was approaching, there was not a warning.
We really were caught off guard, and it was a text message from my mom that actually kind of got my attention. I replied back to my mom, said, I think we're okay, we'll just keep an eye on it. And it really was moments later that our phones went off and said a tornado was at a warning right away, now. And I stepped out on the front porch and I could see the wall cloud.
She was just out our front door.
Yeah, I'm like, holy cow.
Local text alerts say the chances of a deadly tornado are now 80%. And it looks like it will drop on Jason's front yard.
I can feel my heart rate coming up right now just thinking about it. I felt like it was a life or death situation.
If a tornado forms, Jason and Kamala could be its first victims.
The worst case scenario is there's nothing standing. Me, my wife, and dogs are carried off to just, man, I've got to make a decision and I can't wait.
Half a mile away is a cell phone repair shop owned by businessman Saeed.
I opened this shop a year ago. We fix computers, phones, tablets, anything need to be fixed. People start coming, they like what I do. All right. So I'm so proud of this business.
Little does Saeed know, both his beloved livelihood and his life are under serious threat.
Since it's a phone store, I got my phones on, so it wasn't one notification. It was all the phones in the store beeping, and I was going phone by phone trying to turn them off. Because, I mean, it's a normal thing. They sent us that before, so, I mean, I just looked at it and dismissed, that's it.
As the chances of a tornado hit 90%, sirens blare. And every media outlet screams alerts.
If you're in Jonesboro right now, you're under a tornado emergency, and we ask you right now just to stay in your tornado safe spots and be sure right now that you're making good choices for your family.
I've thought about the fight or flight, and fight would have been to stay home, which is generally what you're supposed to do. And I didn't want to be that guy that was in the house that gets blown away.
Obliterated.
And I made a split-second decision. We are getting out of here right away, yes.
He was serious. I thought for a minute everything in my house, and I was like, I don't have time to grab any of it. Let's get out of here.
We were out the door in less than 30 seconds. We were out the door and rolling.
It just doesn't get any more imminent than this.
You always hear you don't want to try to outrun a tornado, so it was scary to make that decision to leave the house.
You should be in your safe spot. You should be taking cover because this is one of those deals where
Driving in deadly weather is never a good idea. In high winds, flying debris can smash a car to smithereens. In Russia, a metal pole crashes through a windshield. And the driver is inches away from being impaled. Also in Russia, icy weather proves treacherous for anyone on the road. This man's driving is hardly as pure as the driven snow. And the pedestrians are left as white as a sheet. Sailing in bad weather is also throwing caution to the wind. In France, these men launched their boat for its maiden voyage. But this sea is far too rough. It's man overboard, and this boat's first outing was almost its last. On Florida's southernmost tip is the island of Key Largo. It's a 30-mile strip of tropical paradise, surrounded by crystal clear sea.
Key Largo, it's beautiful. Of just beautiful, gorgeous water and boating and fishing, literally the fishing capital of the world.
Friends Dan Haladki and Heiko Winkler moved here for the fishing. And several times a week, they take out Dan's two-man boat in search of tuna.
My favorite part about fishing is just going offshore and kind of getting away from the everyday and just being able to throw a line in the water and fingers crossed the storm doesn't come.
Summer storms here are common, but part and parcel of the fishing way of life.
There's a myriad of tools that we can use. There's apps, there's radar. But here's the deal. When you go out there, you have no idea what can develop. You can prepare as much as you can, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be smooth sailing. It's natural to go out and see storms and just kind of avoid them.
But in July 2019,
oh yeah,
Dan and Heiko are on a fishing trip that they'll never forget.
So the day started out beautiful. Glassy conditions, the fish were biting. It was like any summer day. You had a couple thunderstorms like way off in the horizon.
Right? Perfect. Look at you.
Beautiful. Normally those thunderstorms, they just stay over land and they don't really come offshore. And it was just a great day.
Today was a good day of fishing and catching.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
The men are 10 miles offshore when they see a thunderstorm cutting between them and the coast.
We still got some ugly stuff going in. That way. That is looking ugly, man.
Yep. When we were done fishing, I checked the radar app and I could see that it had turned into a big storm. It doesn't look so good. And it was not only over our port where we were coming home, but it was also expanding out towards us.
Dan and Heiko are cut off by the storm, which is unlike anything they've encountered before.
It's like a very short, intense tropical storm that just developed out of nowhere. That was highly unusual.
Yeah, it wasn't in the forecast.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
Right.
The surprise squall howls their way at an alarming rate. The men must think fast.
The decision is do we outrun the storm? Do we go further offshore to get away from it? Or in this case, we didn't opt to go offshore because we were afraid of getting caught worse in deeper water. So we opted to go back to shore.
Straight through it.
And that was the problem.
Unable to give a wide berth, the fishermen played chicken with the weather. A bold move, but probably not a good idea.
And we just got sucked in it, and we were right in the middle of it.
Right in the smack dab middle of it.
The men are swallowed up by the small but deadly squall.
And then torrential rain, and then waves coming over the bow at the same time.
I was getting smacked in the face by waves left and right. There's big waves out there.
The off-board motor on Dan's tiny boat is no match for this stormy sea.
My main concern throughout this whole ordeal was that boat flipping over. There was no swimming through that. That would have taken us and done whatever it wanted to do with us.
The lofty swells combine with 40-mile-per-hour winds and barge the men off course.
This is dangerous too, though. No, going with the waves are...
I was fighting that helm to try to keep us where we wanted to go. We really got tossed around quite a bit, and it was very difficult to hold on to that steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, with one shot, man.
was holding on pretty tight. I was white-knuckling it.
Dan and Heiko can barely see beyond the bow. Their best chance of finding land is the satellite navigation system.
But when the electronics went out, then that changed the game. Because then we had no idea where we were. Because at that point, the visibility was 0.
You couldn't see 10 feet in front of the boat.
So we had no idea where the land went. Now you're blind.
Their only hope now is the compass.
And that's when I noticed the compass was just spinning.
Like a mini Bermuda Triangle out there.
That's what it felt like.
It really did, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Dan and Heiko are completely lost at sea and at the mercy of the storm.
There's no road signs, there's nothing out there. We had no idea where land was, or what direction to go in. So the only thought that came to my mind was to try to stay within the same area.
The men must hold their ground and wait for the thunderstorm to blow over. But its violent static core is still to come.
We had that lightning bolt go right off the bow. I was really fearful that we were going to get thrown off that boat, and I anticipated that we were going to lose the boat.
To me, personally, the lightning is way scarier than the wind and the water. It's the lightning.
Yeah, and at that moment, we're the tallest thing out there.
With lightning shooting across their bow, Dan fights to hold position.
This is getting really bad, actually. Go, go, go!
There was a point where I'm yelling at Dan to just go, 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 and that's because I looked back and I noticed that the engine was almost completely submerged underwater because the waves were just so big coming up.
When we saw the engine go under, that was a wake-up call. That was like,
Yeah.
This is getting real now.
If the engine breaks, the boat will be at the mercy of the weather.
That's when it got real for me.
It got real at that moment. Man, if that engine stalls, that would have been it. We just would have been tossed like a cork, and probably into the reef.
But the men successfully keep their heads above water. And as swiftly as it descended, the storm subsides. And the journey home is plain sailing.
And then it's like so peaceful.
Once the storm passed, it turned right back into beautiful Florida, glassy, clear water. If we did lose the boat and Coast Guard would have came out to us, they would have found us floating on a sunken boat in perfectly beautiful conditions, and they would have been like, what happened to
you guys?
These fearless fishermen floundered into a storm that they'll never forget. And were lucky to reach dry land alive.
I think what we did right after that was have a couple beers.
We did. Yeah, life tasted a little better that day.
It did. It did. Anytime I see a storm now, I kind of think back on that. I'm like, I don't want that to happen again.
Hope for the best, but expect the worst.
Yeah. Oh, that's one way to water down a beer.
Look at that, very, very, very healthy out there.
I'm looking at live pictures.
The people of Jonesboro face an incoming thunderstorm with an imminent threat of a tornado. Resident Brandon Farris is on his way to the shops,
Better take out running, cool.
but is caught by surprise.
Started getting alerts on my phone, because at first it was just saying there's gonna be a thunderstorm warning or watch. Then all of a sudden it was the take shelter.
They locking everybody in.
I've always got, real thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, everything like that, but I've never gotten a take shelter. It must be serious, and we heard the sirens going off at that time. So, I mean, at that point, you know, I'm nervous. I'm like, you know, it's really going on.
There's an almost 100% chance a deadly tornado will drop. While most people seek shelter, Jason and Kamala Neely flee their home.
You should be taking cover.
We were at the stoplight, and I was just kind of watching it.
If this thing puts down,
It's going to drop. I'm hearing everyone telling me that. My wife's telling me that. The guy on the radio's telling me that. And I'm like, it's moving at 50 miles per hour. See how fast the cloud's moving? I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to move past Jonesboro and then drop. And unfortunately, it dropped right there, right basically where we were.
There it is! There it is! There it is!
It was right behind us. That is the most scared that I have felt in my life, was right there seeing it on the street that we're in.
The tornado forms near Ray Street and races towards the couple at 50 miles per hour. 1 mile from Kamala, storm chasers Derek and Andrew watch as the violent vortex grows.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
In a matter of seconds, and I mean seconds, it dropped, it formed, and it grew.
Large tornado, large wind, rapidly rotating tornado is on the ground.
And it turned to where we started seeing debris within probably 45 seconds.
Thinking fast, Jason and Kamala turn off the main road.
Any car that really was on that road that we were on was in danger. And to get out of that path, around the corner we went.
Oh my gosh!
And by that time it was black.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What are we even doing?
Gaining strength, the destructive whirlwind curls towards them.
And it had like tripled in size. That was the scariest moment, because at that time I couldn't tell which direction it was moving.
The monster vortex is now 600 feet wide, with wind speeds of 140 miles per hour, strong enough to hurl Jason's car.
Think of King Kong coming through your town and tearing it up. That's what it looked like. It looked like a monster just grabbing stuff and throwing it up in the air.
Oh my gosh! This is a very life-threatening situation right now.
This is a tornado emergency in Jonesboro.
It's all I could think of was it's killing people. There's people in that path.
And we were about a mile away, and you could hear the roar and see the damage. The debris, rooftops, you know, being lofted into the air.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! That is somebody's house!
Oh no, you know, this is somebody's lives being just destroyed.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's somebody's house!
The tornado obliterates everything in its path. Jason and Kamala watch as it plows into Jonesboro's shopping district.
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. All I could think was there's people out there.
The tornado is now on Needham Street, less than 100 meters from Saeed's shop.
Yeah, Habiba. Start being windy. Aja. Like something is coming. And then the tornado just came from nowhere.
The whirlwind skims the side of the store, and hurricane-force winds batter the shop front.
And I seen the door open, close, and there was some stuff lying around. One of them was the sign from across the street there. I was afraid the tornado will destroy all the store and like the glass, especially all these windows are glass, so I was scared something will like shatter on me.
The violent vortex creeps past, just meters from Saeed's business.
You can see the lighting in it, and then got to the point where it's like across the street from me.
140-mile-per-hour winds decimate the garage across the road.
It just destroyed the whole store, like it carried the whole store. And that was something else.
Saeed is spared by the deadly whirlwind. But it lumbers towards Brandon, who takes shelter in a supermarket.
At that point, I'm like, you know, I'm out here in this storm, you know, tornadoes coming towards this way.
Oh my God!
Seeing the power lines, everything like that, the cars, debris just getting thrown everywhere. There was no way you was gonna get around it or through it. Like, you know, if it was coming your way, it was coming your way.
Where we're gonna go? It might be going that way.
Bear Lake in northern Utah, USA. During the coldest months, its waters freeze, forming over 100 square miles of icy plain. A winter wonderland for skaters, fishermen, and people on a date wanting to break the ice.
Babe, look at all these cracks.
Jason Clark and Abby McDonald have been together for 3 months.
I met Abby on a trip to Vancouver. We ended up in the middle of nowhere and skinny dipping, running out into the ocean, and she hasn't left my side since.
Jason has a lust for life. And in 2019, he created a list of activities to do in his precious free time.
I started a few social media accounts called Jason To-Do List. I didn't want to call it a bucket list because it's not something I want to do before I die. It's something I want to do right now.
In just 4 months, Jason has already accomplished stunt flying, sailing, climbing,
Be safe, please.
and skydiving.
I don't feel that there's anything more important than completing the things that you want to do in your life.
It's February 23rd, 2020, and Jason and Abby are at Bear Lake.
This was a very rare occasion when it actually froze over and you could see through the ice to the bottom. It was perfect conditions that usually never happen.
Jason wants to make the most of the icy conditions and check another activity off his list.
Point to point under ice swimming is literally just cutting 2 holes, and the only way in or out is through those 2 points. And make sure you enter one and exit the other was the goal.
Jason punches 2 small holes in the ice, nearly 5 meters apart.
I definitely thought Jason was crazy when he told me he wanted to swim under the ice. It was like pretty spur of the moment. Growing up in Canada, I'm aware of how cold water can get. Your body can just go into absolute shock. I thought it was a ridiculous idea.
I've never swam underwater in ice water before. That was definitely a new experience for me. But I can hold my breath for up to 3 minutes and thought I would be just fine. I was really excited to do it. I was a little bit nervous.
The distance is looking longer and longer now.
Yeah.
He's obsessed about accomplishing his goals. So I just kind of let him do his thing, and I always just want to be as supportive as I can.
You can do it. You can do it.
I ended up wearing just the swimsuit, no goggles, no nothing. It's just you versus nature. You don't want to use like a wetsuit or anything like that.
In freezing water like this, an inexperienced swimmer is at risk of cold water shock, which can paralyze muscles and stop the heart.
Oh my gosh.
I kneeled down. At that point, I was like, I don't know if I should do this.
I'm afraid I'm gonna panic under the water, honestly.
Just do it. You got this.
When I was like, oh, this is going to take 10 seconds. He's going to swim from point to point, and it's going to be over.
I started swimming towards the hole. I was like, oh, I got this. This isn't too bad. But my eyes started to freeze, and so it was very blurry.
Jason's simple stunt goes horribly wrong. He misses the exit hole, and now he's lost.
When I flipped around seeing a light spot on the ice, I just touched it thinking that it was the hole to exit out of, and it wasn't. It was solid.
I know Jason can hold his breath for a long time. I know he's a really good swimmer, but he's just trying to act like he's just so invincible, and he's trying to scare me.
She knows I'm a jokester in extreme situations like that. She seriously just thought that I was joking around. I decided to flip around and follow the dust trail that I had kicked up along the bottom of it back to the first hole.
But underwater currents have moved the trail off course.
At this point, I was like, I don't even know where I am. I could be 200 feet off of this hole and I wouldn't know the difference. I was completely disoriented. That's when I was starting to get a little bit desperate. I was getting pretty short on air. I hit my back up against the ice to try to break it. So I realized it was like hitting it against concrete and I wasn't gonna get out. My vision started to go dark and I was getting very close to blacking out. I was just shocked that I was gonna die in a small amount of water just like that. When I turned around for one last time, I could see some shadows on top of the ice. I just got all the energy to stand up again. And just regaining the feeling in my eyeballs. And I just breathed for a minute, realizing how lucky I was. Abby started realizing that it was actually a serious situation.
You okay?
Yeah, I seriously almost died. I almost didn't make it.
I didn't sleep all night because I just thought, oh my goodness, like Jason almost died. Like that was such a struggle for him.
You okay?
That was stupid.
But when I was filming and just there, I completely just thought he was A-okay.
I gotta try that again.
I knew that I had to do it again. Something being able to conquer me would have been so traumatic.
I was just like, you're crazy. But at least we opened up a dialogue of like more safety precautions.
You got this.
Still at incredible risk. This time, Jason goes better equipped. He wears goggles to help him see, uses a towel as a marker, and has an exit hole 3 meters wide.
Yes.
People have reacted to the video pretty negatively for the most part. I do agree it was definitely a bad example to post online for people, but at the same time, I'm hoping that it is a warning. You know, if somebody starts cutting holes in the ice, then somebody will be like, hey, I saw a guy almost die doing that.
With every precaution in place, under ice swimming is still an incredibly dangerous pursuit. And it's remarkable that Jason didn't die.
I think he's exceptionally lucky because it could have just been disastrous.
If there's good conditions out there next winter, I'll probably do it again.
No.
Still wear goggles and stuff, but do the holes a little further apart and have the towel, but just make it a little bit more challenging.
So we're not going to Bear Lake ever again in the winter.
Those who play with ice are often playing with fire. But that doesn't stop many from frozen frolics. This man in Canada fancies himself as a bit of a performer. He doesn't want to freeze on stage, so he warms up for the headline act. But it isn't until the crescendo when the performance really starts. Bravo!
Put the camera down, Albert!
Also half naked in Canada, a man wades in to assist a furry friend who's fallen through thin ice.
Big dog saving operation.
The shirtless savior clears a path and pulls the pooch to safety.
Oh, got it. He's manly.
The drenched doggy paddles to the bank, and the half-naked hero can relax with an ice-cold beer. In Lithuania, this courageous kitten is a whisker away from a frozen dinner. But her prey is a slippery fish. In this case, curiosity doesn't kill the cat, and she survives with 9 lives still intact. The people of Jonesboro in Arkansas are experiencing their most destructive tornado in half a century.
I am just sick in my stomach right now just watching this happen. I just can't believe it. I apologize But it's just hard to watch this happen right now in our town.
Where we gonna go? It might be going that way.
The tornado tears the town's shopping mall to shreds. And now heads directly for Brandon Ferris.
At that point, I was like, man, like, you know, eyes were still big and heart racing because I've never seen nothing like that.
The violent vortex swings away, leaving Brandon unharmed.
You know, I could have been killed at that point because, you know, any kind of debris, anything like that could have, you know, fell on me. So, I mean, I could have been killed from that storm.
911 Director Jeff Presley. Jeff, as we continue to track this tornado that is still on the ground, I believe it's out of our city limits now, but I know we've got a terrible situation.
We do have a bad situation.
Oh, I've lived here 20 years.
Sensing the situation is safe, Jason and Kamala Neely drive home.
Oh, we barely missed this. I don't even know. We barely missed this.
It's the same road, but now a completely different landscape.
Oh my gosh, is that Cheddar's? Cheddar's is demolished. And some houses here were hit, you know, like completely wiped off. It was just a slab. Not even a wall standing in some of these neighborhoods.
It was Jonesboro's strongest tornado in half a century. In its wake, a massive trail of destruction.
It was an EF3 tornado that came through and did this enormous amount of damage.
I thought it might have hit, you know, 1 or 2 stores or, you know, a few buildings, but seeing all those cars, every building like that, like it just took the top off the mall completely. And then the airport that we have down here in Jonesboro, it was actually, you know, tore to pieces, the planes and everything like that. It was very devastating and sad seeing everything like that, you know.
In the sea of destruction, Saeed's phone repair shop is completely untouched.
All these glass windows, nothing got broke. But behind the store, all these houses got destroyed. Even the shop across the street from me, the whole store is not there no more.
You can see Gateway Tire. It's been completely destroyed. That's where people would be standing as you come in to get service, right? A severe amount of damage caused here in Jonesboro.
Our house is totally fine, this section of our town.
Jason, Kamala, Brandon, and Saeed all escaped unharmed. But emergency services must now assess how many lives are lost.
The first reports that came through that there was maybe some minor injuries, but no deaths. But you were still like, okay, they're still searching, they're still going to people's houses.
Amazingly, everyone survived the tornado.
It was almost astounding that no one had died after seeing it go through town like that.
Jonesboro's news bulletins, text alerts, and tornado sirens successfully protected people from this surprise storm. But residents believe a more unlikely safety precaution saved the most lives that day.
At that time, you know, Jonesboro, we was on lockdown, you know, for coronavirus. So that was going on at that time, and that's probably why a lot of people wasn't out like it would be on a Saturday.
Jonesboro's bustling commercial center was the area hardest hit. But because of coronavirus, that day, it was virtually deserted.
Had there not been for a pandemic, where it touched down at, there could have been a massive loss of life.
Despite the surprise nature of the storm, the people of Jonesboro live and learn from this shocking natural event.
I definitely look at it totally different than I used to.
And we're talking about now getting a storm shelter in our house so that we don't have to make that decision to leave the house again.
They're a force of nature that can't be tamed.
Wind is one of the most devastating elements in weather's arsenal. But for some people, it provides perfect opportunity for hijinks. On the French-Swiss border, 2-mile-high Alpine slopes provide the perfect amount of wind to sweep paragliders off their feet. In Chamonix, one gutsy speed flyer has his sights on a terrifying touchdown. His timing needs to be more precise than a Swiss watch. He approaches the cable car at 50 miles per hour, then slams on the brakes, but swings in too fast. He was flying by the seat of his pants, but reached his target just under the wire. But wind conditions in the Alps can be very unpredictable. In the resort of Cervinia, Italy, winds can reach 100 miles per hour. But this doesn't deter seasonal skiers of all abilities.
It's the first time I've been, obviously, and I was so excited, really pumped to get ready and just start something new.
Christmas Eve 2016. Sienna Reynolds takes to the slopes for the first time, under the supervision of her father, Gareth.
We'd spent weeks in anticipation. They were very excited about it. But the weather had been absolutely fine. There was no suggestion of what was to come.
Gareth and Sienna are enjoying the resort's easiest runs when the wind starts to pick up.
And Sienna, who was really a basic skier, who was okay to go down it in normal weather, was struggling a lot.
Sienna loses control in the high wind, which blows her off the side of the slope.
I really hurt my knee. It was really painful. I would have really struggled to have gone the rest of the way down the mountain.
Sienna can no longer ski, so the pair call it a day and catch the cable car back down the mountain.
Getting into that gondola was such a relief. It was slow, but it was worth it because I was in a lot of pain with my knee.
But in the event of strong gusts, the cable cars automatically stop to prevent damage to the system and injury to the passengers.
We could see it was stop-start, and we just assumed this was because the wind was high.
This is amazing.
And then about 20 minutes in, it just stopped altogether. So we were just waiting and waiting.
There was no announcement, no nothing, so we started to get a bit concerned.
Looking up the mountain, Gareth and Sienna spot an advancing snowstorm, bringing with it a full-on gale.
And the wind was horrific. You could see it coming right over the mountain, and you could just see it bringing all of the snow over, and it was just, you're just waiting 20, 30 seconds, and the whole gondola is just blowing in the wind horrifically.
The sudden blizzard pummels 50 stranded gondolas, blowing them broadside, almost 90 degrees.
At one point we were looking at the ground through the doors of the gondola, and it was terrifying.
I've got to say, I was honestly petrified. It was, I did, you start to think you're not going to make it.
Because if we dropped, we would have died, and we wouldn't have made it. And that's in the back of my mind. I was just sat there and I was going, we're going to fall, we're going to fall. There's no way we're going to survive this.
You have a fight in your head. You're saying, oh my God, I'm going to die. We're going to die. Then you're trying to be brave to show your daughter that, oh, don't want to be silly. I think that was the hardest part, was just looking at my daughter's face. And I did take a photo of it, and you could see in her eyes.
The wind gave us no break. You just wanted to ease up a little bit, and you just wanted to have 10 minutes in there without holding on for dear life. But no, it didn't happen.
The onslaught continues for another 6 hours, keeping petrified passengers on the edge of their seats, deep into the night.
When the sun goes down and you are in pitch darkness, that's scary because there are no lights in the gondolas. You're in pitch black and you can't see the wind coming for you, and you don't know whether to hold on, and then bam, it hits you and you're swinging again, and that's, the shock was really, really scary. I was like, well, surely if we were going to be rescued, it would have happened by now.
Sienna and Gareth start to lose hope. But a rescue operation is in progress. Trained rope experts reach the car containing Gareth and Sienna. and the father and daughter are dropped off back at their hotel just before midnight to see in a Christmas that they'll never forget.
I felt really grateful to be back with my friends, with my family in that hotel on Christmas Day. It was really nice. The wind has genuinely got so much power that it can destroy everything in its path and put your life in danger. I think until you really know what Mother Nature can do and you're in that situation and know how powerful it is, you will never truly understand how dangerous it really is.
Sienna and Gareth were unharmed because the Cervinia cable cars were well monitored and properly maintained, as Alpine weather takes its toll on mountain machinery. In Georgia, a ski lift engine loses power, and with no one around to slam on the brakes, the chairs bucket backwards down the hill. It's the roller coaster from hell, tossing skiers way off-piste. Most passengers leap to safety, but some are carried into the carnage. At least 10 people were injured, but luckily, no one died. Not all mountain rescues are so successful. In Pakistan, a car has slipped off the road. Rescue teams negotiate a recovery. But before they know it, a digger wades in to help. The heavy plant topples down the mountain, toppling heavy plants as it goes. Luckily, no one was injured, but they're still no closer to getting out of the woods. In this episode, we've seen how tornadoes can tear down whole towns in minutes.
Oh my gosh!
We've witnessed that sea storms can be completely off the hook. And we've experienced that playing with ice can get you in hot water. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.